Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Bandor. I'm going to be doing another video today on using Substance Painter for Second Life. And going to do a couple other videos later, but I finally got my audio problem fixed, so you should be able to hear me now. Anyway, so we're going to jump right in. So what I was doing, so I've done some videos on using Substance Painter to create materials and textures and things for 3D objects. And so when I had done it before, I was using just the basic functionality of Substance Painter by applying materials to your models, and I wasn't really using any of the more advanced features of blending or masking or any of that kind of stuff. So it works incredibly well if you're using some smart materials and you get um, some some really great output. But if you don't use the advanced features, you're really missing out on a lot of the functionality, and you end up with some relatively flat looking textures, or monotone's not the right word for it, but simplistic. How about that? Which for many things that's okay, but when you have complex objects or you have things where you need a lot of different textures going on, and you want them to kind of look more natural and realistic, it has incredible features and functionality that'll let you do that really, really easily. So I thought, as I was exploring some of those, I thought I would shoot a video really quickly to show you some of the stuff that I was doing. So this is a very strange model that I created in Blender. That it's for a role-playing game that I'm working on called Feudalism. This is to be a mineral deposit in a rock wall that you can basically put this on the rock wall, and your players would come by and find this outcropping of minerals, and then they could mine that mineral and take it back to use it in some of the crafting functionality. So I wanted to make something that looked like a kind of natural rock outcropping. So I made this model, and you can see it's like a almost like terrain, right? It's a bunch of semi-organic looking lumps that are growing out of the wall. So I'm not going to show you how I made that, or really spend a lot of time on that. I just wanted to tell you what it was because people are going to go, "What is that strange thing?" Right? And then let's jump into Substance Painter. This is what it's going to end up looking like when we're done. This is one of them. So, but before we do that, I'm going to erase all of these things. So I did it yesterday just to play around. So we're going to get rid of all of those and just have our simple model in here. Um, and then we're going to import it into Second Life, and I'm going to do it two ways. I'll do it one for PBR and one for the old version. So first thing I want to do, and I did this a couple different ways, and I kind of like this way more. Um, let's go ahead and grab some rock textures. There aren't a lot of really good smart materials for rocks. This is one called Desert Rock. It's not the one I used yesterday, but let's try it, see what it looks like. All right, so it looks okay. It gives you some varying coloration, which I like. So let's use this one. All right, so what I want to do is I want to come over to my layers palette, or layers tab here where it says layers, and I'm going to add a new layer on top of this. Um, but you actually don't have to add the layer yourself. It'll do it for you when you add a new material. So I'm going to do gold. So this is going to be an outcropping of gold, the first one we do. So let's look and see what we have under gold. Um, I could do this one, which is gold armor, but it's uniform. It's very uniform gold. So if I want to have like a solid gold color, that would be great. Then I have other ones like this gold damaged, which has some interesting details on it, which might be fun. This one's a lighter color gold. This one's got rusty looking spots on it, which I don't think is going to look good for natural. Looks very man-made. So let's see what else we got. There's one down here called Metal Old. It's got some spots on it. That might look good. Then that one. This one's got mossy spots, which I don't think would look good. And this one's got some black. This one looks a little more, ooh, what's that one? That's the moss one. This one's called 07 Gold. It's got some black in it, which actually looks kind of cool. And it looks a little more organic than say this one. So let's use that. All you do is you just drag it on your model. Okay, so that's what it would look like if the whole thing was that way. Right? Which looks really cool, but I don't, this needs to be rock out here. So how can I make it so that this area out here looks like rock, but the area where the lumps are all sticking out looks just like gold? Well, what I want to do is I want to combine these two different materials on this one object at the same time. And normally when I was showing you before, what I did, I would just use this. I would get rid of the other ones and I would only use that top layer, right? And I would just say, okay, I'm just going to export this and use it, because I didn't need to combine things. So now we do need to combine it, and this model doesn't have parts. So if this model had been set up so that the background part was one material and the gold part was a separate material, I could just apply this to the one part and this to the other part, and there would be a very distinct line of demarcation between the two of them, right? So you would see this is very much there's no blending. It doesn't smoothly go across. Well, I want it to be blended and I want it to be smooth. So the way you do that is you use masks. And so on the top layer, you want to put a mask. And a mask, if you think of a mask in, like, what is a mask in real life? A mask is something that you put on top of it, like your face, right? And it covers your face so you can't see your face through the mask. But you can see parts of your face where there's holes in the mask. And so the things that are where the holes are show through, and the things where there's no holes don't show through. Well, that's basically what a mask does here. I can apply a mask that uses black and white, like a black and white image or a black and white texture, and in this top layer. And anything that is black, then the bottom layer will show through, and anything that is white, the top layer will show through. Or I could have that backwards, but we'll see when we do it. We'll actually see which one's correct. I think maybe white shows through. We'll figure it out. But you can do either way. You can do a black mask, or you can do a white mask, and it works the opposite. So whichever you feel more comfortable doing, you'll do it. We're going to do a black mask. So you just you can right click and do it, or you can just come up here to the mask icon. So there's an add effect, add a mask, add a layer, add all this. So the one we want is add a mask. And very similar to Photoshop. So when you click that, you can add a white mask, a black mask, a bitmap mask, or add a mask with color selection, or add a mask with height combination. So the one we want is black. Okay, so yeah, okay, that answers the question. So when you create a black mask, anything that is black in this little 2D image is going to show the bottom. Anything that is white in this will show this image. So you understand? So this image determines what we see. And if any pixel in here that is black, that corresponding pixel in what we see will come from the layer below. Anything that has a white pixel, this one will show through. And then it's a grayscale. So anything that's like half 50-50 black and white, it will give an evenly blended version of these two textures. And so that's how you can get more of a blended edge around the side. So where you want the gold to show through strongly, then you use solid white. And where you want the rock to show through, you use a solid black. And anywhere where you want it kind of blended, you use varying colors of gray. Now, how do we go about doing that? Well, there's multiple ways of doing that. You just click on this little square, and you're now working on a 2D. If I had my 2D view, you could see it. There would be a 2D. So I haven't done that, so I don't know. So this one, yeah. So 3D and 2D. Oops. I think I did 2D. Oh, I don't know. I don't have enough room here. That's why it didn't show it. So anyway, doesn't matter. So you click on this, and now we're editing that image. If I click on this, we're the panels and the properties and everything apply to this material that we applied, but we want to click on the actual mask itself. And so now you can come down here and you can see you can paint. And so I have the paintbrush selected over here. You can use different brushes to get different styles. And we're painting white, and you can change the color down here, right? You could actually apply a 2D image if you had like a black and white bitmap image or something with gradients in it, and you made them in Photoshop or something. You could drag those right here, and it would apply that, and then it would work automatically. But we're going to paint, and we're going to paint on white so that we can get the gold to appear. And so with white selected here and paint here, I'm actually going to move over and use my the screen that I have. My second screen is a touch sensitive screen that you can use. It's pressure sensitive, and so you can use pens on it. And so I forget the name of it. I think it's a Chinese company, but I really like it. It's very similar to a Wacom, but it's way less price. And it does have it has pins that are very similar to the Wacom pins. I had a different Chinese one that didn't use that, and I didn't like the pins at all. And so I got rid of it, but I do like this one. So now we're just going to paint white on our picture. And so you can see there, that is where I'm going to be painting that little circle. And if I wanted to make it bigger, then I could, there's a hotkey that I can use on the pen, but I'm going to show you up here. I can change the size of that with this by making it bigger. And now it paints a much bigger area. And so for this surface, this is all lumpy stuff, so I want this to kind of be the gold. So let's just start painting, and we're painting white on, but you see it as gold. We're actually painting white, but what's happening in what we're seeing is the gold is showing through. So I can just come in here and paint this, and I'm starting to get my gold to show. And it's a little too big of a brush for the edges over here, so I'm going to try to avoid that part. Change my brush. Let's lower my brush size down. You can also adjust the flow and the opacity of your strokes. And then it works with your pressure sensitive, so the more you push, the more it comes out. So I'm just doing very light strokes here. If I pushed harder, oops. Ooh, I made it way too small. About that. There, that's better. Okay, so the harder I push, the more intense the white gets. And fills this area in really well. Come over here. And notice it's putting black and gold. So that's because the material that I use is set up that way. And it's the way that smart material works, I think, is let me show you without like that. Oops, can't see it. Looks like this. Right. So you can see there's black and gold, and that's why it's doing that. Just keep going. Just put it on. I'm just doing this really quickly. So throwing some gold on here. And do it around here like that. Get this piece. I feel like Bob Ross. And some happy little trees down here. Notice I left that area more rock. Okay, so I'm liking this, but I'm also not liking part of it. I'm liking some of the areas that is too much black. I don't really like that. Okay, now if I want to look at this from a different angle, I can just rotate my view, and you can see, oh yeah, maybe I need to get these sides better. So I can just brush that on here from the side. See? That's why painting in 3D is so cool. I'm doing 3D painting. At first I was getting mostly just the tops. So this way I can make sure I get the sides too. And then you probably want to change that angle. It's hard to navigate in Substance Painter. End up upside down. Okay, that's fine. You can still paint upside down too. Yeah, it's really hard to control the view when you move camera around in Substance Painter. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just me though. Could just be me. A bit here. Oh yeah, there's some bald spots here. Get my gold in there. But I leave a little bit of the rock showing through down there. But this needs some gold. Okay. Now let's try to get our view back like it was when we started. It's pretty close. All right, so there we have it. Now, like I said, this doesn't look good to me, and I want to clean that up a little bit. So what I'll do is I'm going to pick a different gold, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to pick another gold. That's a lot of black, and it's got scratches in it too. Let's take this gold armor and do the same thing. Just drag it on. The whole thing turns to gold, and then we're going to add a black mask. And then we'll start painting where I want that to go. So I want to highlight some of this area. So I want to make this even bigger like that. So you get some of that brightness showing in. I'm very lightly tapping down in here like that. Just add some to the peaks. Get some really bright spots. That. And see how it's blending it? It's really cool, huh? And then, like that. Then I'm going to go back to this one, and I want to clean this up too. So I can zoom in. Move over here. I want to get rid of this and make it more of the rock. So I can change the color of my paint to black. And now watch what happens. See, the rock comes through. Right? Rock there. Maybe I want some more gold over here, so I can go back to. But I want to show you what if I do gray, kind of in between, right? So then I can put that here. So you get a little bit of a blending. So you get a little bit of gold, but more of the rock there too. So now I feel like I'm an artist. Where before it was very mechanical, this is very much art. More of an artistic kind of an activity. Okay. All right. And let's go back out and look at it. Now it looks more realistic. It's less flat. It's more detailed, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to now export this. Export my textures. I have this set up for Second Life, so it's going to give me a diffuse, a normal, a specular. I don't really care about the AO, so do that. Let me clear out my folder. Export. Okay. Go ahead and export that. And then I also want to do it for PBR. So we're going to export again. This time instead of Second Life, we're going to pick GLTF PBR metal roughness and export. Okay. So we're done here. We're done here. Let's go back to Second Life, and then I'm going to import that model. Build, upload, model, mineral deposit. And I'm just going to see how big that is. It's pretty big. It's 16 Li. Clear that up a little bit. Let's see what that does. Ah! That's not what I wanted. Build, upload, material. Build, upload, model. There it is. All right, let's see what happens if I clear that. And calculate again. Oh, I see, I got it down to 4 just by doing that. I don't need physics. This is not something I care about for this model. So just go ahead and upload it. And there it is. Boom. There's my model. My brain gets confused. I'm trying to use. You have 3 different programs, and all 3 of them navigate the camera, your viewpoint, differently. Okay, I get so confused. Okay, so there's the model. Let's go ahead and we're going to upload the PBR first, because it's the easier one. So build, upload, material. It's in my export folder, and I told you this when I did this before. When you export these for PBR, they name them the same, and you can't tell which one's which, but you can tell by the size. This one has no data in it, and this one has a lot of data in it. This is the one, so you just click on that one, upload it. It's going to bring up this panel that shows you what your material looks like, and then we're going to do. You can just save it if you don't care about the name, or you can save it as. Let's call it gold and rock. And then it's uploading. And what it does is it uploads each one of those separate images and then pulls them together, and it puts it in your materials folder, and there it is. And then you just take that and drag it on. That's what it looks like. I don't think it looks all that great. Could be the lighting too. All right, so that's the one with PBR, and then we'll do it the old-fashioned way here with this one. And upload the individual bulk, export, and we'll take mineral deposit, diffuse, normal, specular. It also generated the other ones for the PBR, but we don't really need to use those individually. Okay, I've got my 3, then I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to go to texture, and instead of PBR, we're going to do Blend Fong, which is the old way. Hello. Okay, it won't let me change it. So what we'll do is we will delete this. And we'll res another one. Oop, not the material. That one that fits. This one. Okay. And then under texture, why is it defaulting to? That was weird. So there you have texture, bumpiness, and shyness. This is the old way, and this is what I'm going to do. So let's go up to texture. There they are. Put diffuse, normal, specular. And there it is. This is what it looks like with the current way Second Life does things, and this is what it looks like in the future way. And I think both of them look good. Neither one of them is really as shiny as I thought they would be. Anyway, so that's it. So that's how you do it. So that gives me a much more natural looking and much more interesting set of textures with, and blended multiple different materials to come up with this look in Substance Painter. So I thought you guys might appreciate that. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to do some other videos later today, introducing feudalism to you guys and let you understand what our new role-playing game system's all about. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.